Welcome to the Life Groups and Life Missions Leadership Podcast. We're honored that you chose to spend just a few minutes of your week with us. We hope that today's content will bring value to you as a leader and as a follower of Christ. And as if you look right here, this isn't Chad, but you may recognize our pastor. The hair's not up there. You might recognize our pastor, Richie. He's been gracious enough to give us a few minutes of his time to be able to just talk to you guys, because Richie's got a lot of experience in life groups. So before being a campus pastor, he was a life groups pastor. Before that, he was a community leader and a life group leader. So I know you've got a lot of wisdom to share with us. But man, I'm glad to have you hanging out with us.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you having me on board. Yeah, it started, I want to say about 7.5 years ago at an open door where the campus pastor asked everybody sitting at a table if they would be willing to become a life group for 3 weeks.
Wow.
And I didn't want to raise my hand. I didn't want to commit to it. But nobody else raised their hand. And my wife kind of nudged me and said my hand shot up. I said, I'll do it for 3 weeks.
Gotta love the wife nudge.
Yes. Yeah. So finally, after doing that for 3 weeks, we decided that was going to be kind of our niche, where we wanted to really just plug into the church was in leading life groups. And so that was kind of where we got our start.
So you've seen life groups in a lot of different seasons, different phases, different locations. We've been talking a lot in our ministry about span of care, caring for the one, why the one is so important to what happens here at Life Church. As a campus pastor now, and having served with life groups for basically all your time at Life Church, why is span of care so important to you?
Yeah, I just think it's super important because it helps people feel connected to the church. Yeah. In the early days when I was leading life groups, I think I had a community leader, but I'm not sure. I never knew that. I kind of felt like I was on my own, honestly, which was okay because I was comfortable in leading that way. But there were times where I really didn't feel connected to the church. And I think even if we look at it biblically, right, we look at Jesus, had a span of care. He was ministering to the whole earth, but he had 12 guys that he specifically was pouring into. And
even within that, he had that closer circle of three that he really had an even deeper relationship with.
Yeah, and so I think it's integral to helping people feel both known and needed in what they do as leaders and as a church. Because here's the deal: if people don't feel connected to the mission of our church, even if they're leading, if they don't feel connected to the mission, then eventually they're going to fall away. Yeah. And so I think it's really on us as a church to develop those systems that will help us to effectively care for the people that are under our leadership.
And you guys have heard me talk about this before. Man, the one matters so much. Every single person that walks in our church matters. Every single person that is in the community matters to God. And just a couple weeks ago, we celebrated all of those big numbers that we got to see. And God is doing some incredible things across our church. But behind all of that, the reason we celebrate those numbers is because every number has a name, every name has a story, and every single story matters to God. Yeah. And it matters to us too. And we're so thankful for you who are leading, because there's no possible way that our staff team could make every single one feel needed and known.
Oh, absolutely. I heard this when I first started leading a life group, and I honestly believe it, that life groups are the backbone of everything that we do as a church. And the life group leaders that are leading those groups absolutely have to feel supported, cared for, because there are so many moments where, as a life group leader, you may not have an answer for something, and that's okay.
Right. That's
something may happen in your group. And you need somebody to talk to kind of process through certain things so that you can make a decision as to how to lead your group. But ultimately, life groups are the way that people feel most connected in the church, and they're growing spiritually through that. And so what you do is so important. You're literally training up disciples. who are going to go and change the world.
Those discipleship relationships that happen inside of a life group, man, they're so valuable, so important to what we do here. Pastor, thanks so much for just connecting with us for a little bit. Man, thank you for the way you lead our staff. Thank you for the way you lead our church. Really, you're a huge influence in my life. I love that I've got somebody that's been in my shoes that I can come and ask questions to, because we all have questions about what we're doing. So it's good to have those roles, and we're here to support you guys in whatever way we can. So we want to see you on the weekend. We want to shake your hand, hug your neck, hear what God is doing in your life. But until then, remember, whoever finds God
finds life.
Like a sunburst lighting up the sky.